Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon on YouTube, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, psychology today will pop up, click on that, and it will have qualified therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. Okay, I was asked to do a video for Nova Scotia. So this is a shout out to Nova Scotia, and to provide hopefully some tools to kind of help get through the horrific events of last week. So just to bring everybody up to date, Nova Scotia was the center of a mass shooting that killed 22 people. And it seems random. They don't know what the motive was, although it started with domestic violence, and this person had planned out basically what they were going to do and where they were going to go. They had a police car, or facsimile of a police car. They had police uniforms. That says premeditation. So basically, boy, first of all, I just want to tell everybody how sorry I am that you had to go through this. This is horrific, and nobody should have to go through it. And it is, you know, on behalf of the American public, I just want to tell you guys, we are so sorry that you're having to go through this, because nobody should have to live through a mass shooting ever in the middle of a pandemic. So, how can I help you? So basically, what I can tell you is, this is another taking away of safety, taking away of certainty. We already had the pandemic come in and blow in like an abuser, right? You know, it kills people at random. Some people live, some people don't. Doesn't, no rhyme, no reason. And then you had this mass shooting that does a very similar thing. So it's going to create a lot of trauma. So the trauma may not hit right now. So what happens when we are faced with something so incomprehensible is overwhelmed, numbness, disbelief, sense of unreality, what the fuck, you know, that whole thing. So I just want to validate that everything you are going through, everything you are feeling, everything you are thinking is 100% valid. Please do not make yourself wrong for any of this. So when something of great violence happens, one of the first things that happen is we go, why? And you're never going to get the answer to that. Unfortunately, the person who did it, or fortunately, is dead. And even if they were alive, you probably would not get the answer you're looking for. There is no rhyme or reason to crazy. That's the best I can tell you. This is taking away the sense of safety. This is taking away the sense of predictability. You know, so we had the unpredictableness of the virus, and now we have the unpredictableness of this violent act. And what can I tell you to help you heal? What can I tell you to help you get through this? Basically, it's going to be getting through the shock. It's going to be making sure that you are connecting yourself, maybe not, you know, physically, since we're still doing this social distancing thing. And this is what's making it so hard, because normally what would happen is the community would come together and everybody would be holding hands and doing a vigil and expressing and grieving and everything else. And instead, now we're having to do this socially distant, you know, funerals and grieving and vigils and things like that. So it's really important to stay connected. And if you do not have a good therapist, get one. Or support group, go to one, virtually, online. That's going to help you the most. You need to stay connected. I just got off of a conference video thing through the Meadows with Bessel van de Kolk and Peter Levine. And they were both talking about the importance of staying connected within the construct of this whole social distancing thing. And it was in regards to the COVID thing. But I think this is also important in regards to this mass shooting in Nova Scotia, to stay connected. Don't isolate. Don't try to deal with your grief on your own. And what I mean by don't isolate, I don't mean go out and physically be with somebody, because obviously, virus. But I do mean connect online. Get with a therapist. Get with a good trauma therapist. Get with a good support group. Like I said, your mind is going to be going, why? There is no answer. There's no good answer. Even if the person was alive and could say, well, I did it because, society or whatever, you'd still look at them and go, fuck you. You just killed 22 people, you fucking asshole. So, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no why. So the best you can do is start to reconnect with family, with friends that are safe, and online, and keep in touch. Keep connected that way. If you are alone during this, what can you do to self-soothe? So something that, Bessel van der Kolk obviously is very big into body work, because he's the one that wrote The Body Keeps Score, which is a wonderful book, and I recommend everybody read it. So what he talked about and what Peter Levine talked about were ways to self-soothe. So one of them was, putting a hand on the head, putting a hand on the heart, and just breathing. And then just going, oh, okay, I can feel, and you allow yourself to feel. And what are you going to feel? You're going to feel everything. You're going to feel anger. You're going to feel sadness. You're going to feel shock. You're going to feel numb. You're going to feel every single emotion imaginable. And it's important to really love yourself during this time. Something else that happens to survivors of very violent acts is survivor's guilt, and this sense of, I shouldn't be here. Well, no, you should, because you are. And when you get that thought, and it's just a thought, remember, the people who are gone would not want you to be gone too, okay? So, and this is the survivor's guilt. It's like, why am I here and they're not? Or why did they die and I didn't? And, it happens during natural disasters. It happens with acts of violence, etc. So it's the uncertainty. It really drives home how uncertain everything is, especially in this pandemic that is also hitting at the same time. So it's the sense of powerlessness. I was trying to take notes from the meeting because I thought it was just so amazing, some of the things that they were saying. Something that's really good is to, if there are children, and I don't know who the survivors are. This is the thing that's so frustrating to me, is because I was looking through, trying to find as much information on the mass shooting as I could, and I don't have enough information to really know who is a survivor, what's the situation, etc. But something that was brought home in the talk with Bessel van der Kolk and Peter Levine was the importance of rhythm and the importance of routine. So when something crazy like this happens, it blows our routine to hell in a handbasket, and it's really important to get back to a schedule. And Bessel van der Kolk said something that was really important. He said the most mentally ill people he finds are the ones who have no schedule. So even though normalcy has been literally just decimated because of this stupid COVID virus and because of the mass shooting, it's really important to get back to some sort of routine, not normalcy. This is not ever going to be normal. But it's really important to get back to a routine so that you do continue on, and especially if there are kids, that there's like this safety. There's like this, okay, we're going to get up and we're going to have breakfast, and now we're going to go for a bike ride, and now we're going to go to work, and now we're going to, you know what I'm saying? It's like a routine. And that's important, whether it's the COVID virus that's causing the anxiety or whether it is this shooting that is causing the anxiety. Routine is hugely important. Something that you can do is teach yourself and your kids to self-soothe. So Peter Levine was saying, give yourself a hug. Just wrap your arms around yourself and just breathe and self-soothe as if you were your own good parent. You know, especially if you're alone, and that's what sucks. I'm really hoping that people are not completely alone, but if they are, you can do things to self-soothe. So you can rub yourself, you can hold yourself, you can give yourself a hug, you can put your hand on your heart, you can put your hand on your head, and you can breathe, and you can feel it, and say self-soothing things like, it's okay for me to hold myself, and this person I'm holding is worthy, and this person I'm holding is a good person and deserves to be here, and it's okay. Do you see where I'm going with that? So, and you feel the sensations in your body, and grief is going to happen. Grief is going to happen. It's happening already, I'm sure. And when we deal with grief, grief is not going to get over in a week or two. It's not, and it's frustrating when I hear employers or, you know, family or friends going, "Oh, it's been a month. Are you still grieving?" Well, it's been a week, you know. So grief takes time, guys. Grief takes time. It does. So when an event happens, especially a traumatic event, especially one that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, there's shock. There's numbness. There's disbelief. There is this sense of unreality. And then the grief will start setting in. And as the grief starts setting in, there's going to be anger. There's going to be sadness. There's going to be moments of happy because you're going to remember good things that you did with that person. And you just allow. You just allow. And what might help is writing a letter to the person who died. You know, you write and destroy letters, you know, or you could write the letter and keep it. But write the letter to the person who died and let them know everything that you wanted to tell them that you maybe didn't get a chance to, or that you maybe did get a chance to, but you just wanted to tell them one more time. Sorry. So, grief is normal. You're going to cry. You're going to rage. You're going to be sad. You're going to be angry. You're going to have every emotion. And that is perfectly okay. Because you're human. And this was a horrible event that nobody should have to go through. And it is shocking and it is terrible. And I don't ever want any mass shooting to suddenly become blasé because it happens so often. It's just, no, this is not okay. So self-care is going to be huge. Allowing yourself to grieve is going to be huge. It's going to last, guys. It's not going to go away immediately. You are going to feel your feelings forever, but the intense grieving lasts about a year. And it's when we're having to go through all the firsts, you know, first birthday, first anniversary, first Christmas, first New Year's, and then the anniversary of this horrible event. And I really strongly suggest, please get into therapy. If you are struggling in any way, shape, or form, if you're having survivor's guilt in any way, shape, or form, get into some form of trauma therapy. This was a trauma. EFT is great, emotional freedom therapy. It's great. It doesn't work for everybody. So I gotta remind everybody, it does not work for everybody. EMDR is great. That's another good one, or just a damn good trauma therapist that does a lot of good talk therapy. So it's really important. Online, find one. Staying in your body. So something else that Bessel van der Kolk talked about, and Peter Levine, was that you do not want to numb yourself with drugs and alcohol. It is extremely tempting when something this horrific has happened. It is extremely tempting to, you know, where's the bottle? You know, where's the pill? Where's this? Where's that? And to start numbing ourselves because it's painful. It's painful. And grieving is hard work. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You also don't want to numb yourself. And this is something that ticks me off immensely is when I hear people go, "Oh, you're grieving, get onto antidepressants." No, you need to grieve. You're going to be sad. You're going to be angry. You're going to have mood swings. You're going to be a healthy human being, basically. So don't numb yourself with drugs and alcohol. Only get on to antidepressants if after, 6 months you are still not finding any joy in life. You should be able to find little moments of joy about 6 months out. maybe. You know, it takes time. It takes time. So don't numb yourself with drugs or alcohol. Don't stop feeling by taking, you know, antidepressants. Don't. Do you see where I'm going with that? It's like you want to work through the grief as naturally as possible. Some of the things that they talked about in dealing with the COVID stuff is make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. Feel where you're feeling it in your body. Where do you feel the grief? Some people feel it in their gut. Some people feel it in their chest. Some people feel it in their head. And when you do, you just hold that part of you and you love that part of you and you let that part of you know it's okay to feel and it's okay to grieve and it's okay to be angry and it's okay. It's okay. You're okay. It's okay for you to be. It's okay for you to be here. So don't isolate. That's the one thing they kept saying over and over again. Hug yourself if you're alone. Self-soothe if you're alone. You know, put your hand on your heart. Put your hand on your chest. Put your hand on your tummy. Remind yourself that this person that you're holding is a wonderful human being and is worthy of love and worthy of comfort. Don't numb yourself with devices. That was the other thing that Bessel van der Kolk said, is that he was talking about how people numb themselves with devices, you know, and they try to take their mind off of everything with a device. Now, it's fine to do, you know, a game every once in a while, but with this event that just happened and the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic, don't numb yourself. Allow yourself to feel. Write it out. Get it out of your head. Get it onto paper. Feel where you feel in your body. Where does your body feel it? What does your body need right now? You want to do the best self-care you possibly can. Self-regulation is super important. So that's why the dependability of routines. So when something catastrophic happens, COVID, idiot, killing people, it takes away our certainty. So it's important to get a routine back together so that we feel safe. So this is all about safety. If there are children survivors involved, draw, write it, draw, get everybody to draw, have a time where you draw, and then read to each other. Reading to each other is a great way to connect, and it's a great way to process feelings. So, you know, read to each other, do that. The other thing that you can do is that there's a bunch of great workbooks online. So like the PTSD workbook, that's a great one. Grieving workbooks, go get a grieving workbook, go do things like that. Befriending your body is huge. You have a right to feel, and you have a right to feel whatever it is you are feeling. So the best thing that I can tell you is this is an extremely abnormal situation. I hope it never becomes normalized in Canada or anywhere else for that matter. You are going to be grieving. You're going to be angry. You're going to be sad. You're going to be why. You're going to be railing at God. You're going to be doing everything in between. That's normal. That's totally normal. It's totally normal when something nonsensical happens that makes no sense and that takes away people we love. We're going to rail. We're going to feel. We're going to have all sorts of emotions. Please do get with a good online therapist that does trauma therapy, EMDR, EFT, CBT, even DBT would be good. So get with a good trauma therapist. Take extremely good care of yourself. If there are little ones involved, get them a sand tray or a sandbox that they can, with little figurines that they can play with to kind of figure it out. So when I worked with the Dougie Center up in Oregon, they had play therapy. They had little sand trays. And the kids, it was a grief clinic, okay, for kids. And I worked with the adults and other people worked with the kids. But what the kids would do is they would have, like, you know, a coffin, and they would have figures, and then they would try to figure out, you know, you could watch their little minds trying to figure out what the heck's going on. What does this mean? Why isn't mommy coming back? Why isn't daddy coming back? What's the deal? Jesus. Sorry. But it's important for them to work it out. They don't have the cognitive ability to kind of vocalize things a lot of the times, especially when they're little. I mean, sometimes they do, but most of the time they don't. So sand trays are great because they can, you know, they can bury things, and they can, you know, redo the funeral, and they can, you know, why did mommy disappear? Why did daddy disappear? And you watch how they play, and it tells you a great deal of where they are at emotionally. Drawing is awesome because the kid is able to, you know, pick colors that talk about their feelings. You know, it's like, well, what color? So sometimes, like when I work with some of the older children, when I say older, I mean like 7, 8, 9, 10. When I would work with them, like if I had to fill in, I would say, okay, well, if you were going to be a color, what color would you be? What color would your drawing be? And oftentimes they went for black, or they went for the darker colors, or they went for, you know, whatever. And then they would draw out, and then I would have them talk about it. Tell me, what does this mean? What does this mean to you? Tell me about your picture. I want to know about your picture. And so it's a great way to get the kids talking, but it's also a great way to get the kids feeling. So sand trays are great. Coloring is great. And watch for survivor's guilt with them too. You know, kids have a lot of magic thinking in that if somebody dies, they immediately make it be because they said something or didn't say something or did something or didn't do something. So you've got to make it crystal clear that the reason that the loved one is gone is not because of them. Okay. So there that is. Anyway, I just wanted to do this video because I have a great affinity for Nova Scotia, and I really am heartbroken that you guys have had to go through this in the middle of already something that was, you know, traumatizing. So the best advice I can give you is be in your body. Don't negate your body. Feel where the emotions are in your body. Put your hand where that feeling is and love that. Love you. Hold you. Comfort you. If you are with somebody, comfort each other. You know, talk. Don't go silent. That's the worst thing you can do. You've got to talk this stuff out. You know, you've got to get it out because this is horrific and it's weird. And obviously it was grounded in domestic violence. So, and it was premeditated. So this person was clearly not playing with a full deck. Doesn't excuse it. Doesn't answer why. Never going to give you the right answer on that one. But you've got to allow yourself to feel, and you've got to allow yourself to grieve, and you've got to help the little ones do that as well. Oh, so my love to Nova Scotia. Shout out to Nova Scotia. I hope that this helps in some way, shape, or form. Please do get with a good therapist. Please do take good care of yourself. Please allow yourself to feel and to grieve, and to allow the children to feel and to grieve. And don't stop talking. It's important, you know, to talk about the person who died. It's important to not just be like, oh, I don't want to talk about him because I don't want to upset the other people and blah, blah, blah. No. The thing that helps people through a death the most is when people share good stories about the person who died. If you can talk about them, yeah, they're going to cry. Yeah, I'm fucking straight they are. But if you can share those stories, it allows that other person to remember them and to not feel like they just poof disappeared, because they are alive in other people's minds and in other people's hearts. And so it's important to talk about the people who died. And it's important to remember the good stuff that they've done or whatever. Does that make sense? And don't be afraid of having another person cry. Crying is a normal response to pain. And this is an incredibly painful event in the middle of a pandemic. So please do take very, very, very good care of yourselves. I am honored to do this video. I hope it is helpful. And I will talk to you guys later. My love to Nova Scotia.